Yeah, I found my regulator.
What's good, my dive squad? Welcome back. If you're watching my videos in order, then this is the reef dive that was the day after the Vandenberg dive. The Vandenberg dive, as I said in those videos, was top 3 dive for me of all time, hands down, not even close. And so it's only fitting that the law of averages made the universe to be that this dive was one of my worst. It was nobody's fault. It was just, as you can see, the visibility was not great. They paired us up in threes, so it was me, we'll call her Jay, and Tim from yesterday. So this was my second day in a row diving with Tim. We just, the problem was we just couldn't stick together. It's nobody's fault. I'm certainly not blaming anybody. But man, we got down there and I don't know what it was. Yeah, I found a snorkel. That was kind of a funny story. I got back on the boat. This was the best thing that happened all day, really. We, jumped off the back of the boat, went down. It's like, oh, found a snorkel. And I took it back up on the boat, and the guy was eternally grateful. Thank you. Let me take you out for a drink tonight. I said, appreciate the love, brah, but that's all good, man. We ain't gotta do all that. Happy to help. Happy to help. But yeah, this dive was a disaster. You see Tim, he's already like, what? Where'd she go? And there she is. So, again, I'm not blaming anybody whatsoever. I've been on plenty of dives where people get separated, where I've gotten separated. People just see things, or they want to go explore this for a little bit, and you think your buddies are right there, and, people disappear quick underwater in murky conditions. And we just had a hard time sticking together. This right here is the closest we stayed the entire trip. The entire dive. I don't know why, but yeah, I felt like I spent the entire time just trying to stay with the buddies rather than enjoy the dive. And you can see the water is just so murky. It wasn't very good at all for... Yeah, it just wasn't as good as I was hoping it for. But that wasn't even the problem. What really made it the problem was the captain called me out for losing the divers, and that irked me a little bit. So you might see it. I don't know. I haven't really watched these videos. Oh, there's an eel. So this was the highlight of the dive. I don't think I've ever seen an eel just sticking out of the ground before, or sticking out of the hole. I think that's a moray eel, and the color balance is not great here, so couldn't even really see, but yeah, I think that was a green moray eel. I got a pretty good look at him. He looked a little agitated. I did not want to get closer to him than I got there. But okay, so here's what happened. So we came out, we got a dive brief. My one complaint with the dive shop in this instance was they did not show us a map. So I'm completely unfamiliar with this reef. I've never been on it. Never dove it. Don't know a thing about it. And they told us in the dive brief, it's fingers like your hand. So the reef is like, it's got like rocky structures like fingers. And so you want to dive down and kind of swim on the sides of them in and out, like you're tracing your hand as if you're making a Thanksgiving turkey, That's kind of the dive pattern they told us to follow. I'm like, alright, I can do that. And they told us to just jump off the boat and head north. Like, okay, I got a compass. I can do that. Nobody else in my group had a compass, so it's like, alright, just, follow me, try to follow me, it'll take us north. And this is what I saw. I didn't see any fingers of rocks, I guess. It just would have been so helpful, in my opinion, if they had showed a satellite map or a map they had figured out themselves. Well, here's kind of a finger, so that drops down. And just been like, here's the boat, here's what you could expect to see. I think that would have been very helpful. They didn't do that. So that's my one gripe about the dive shop. But the rest of it, it was just, and again, it's nobody's fault. It was just trying to keep up with, Tim, keep up with Jay. And sometimes, I'm trying to tell him, let's go swimming this way. I don't think Jay saw it. And that's probably on me. I gotta be more assertive in this situation. So oh wow, that color balance looks awesome. it looks like I color balanced that already, and I didn't. GoPro figured it out on its own. Wow, that looked really clear. That's incredible. Usually you get here and it's blue and green and yeah, that, like this. Yeah. Alright, now it's back to broken. Okay. But we were going and see, that's pretty bad visibility. I'm thinking maybe 20 feet, 25, maybe 30 feet. And we kind of got to a point where, I don't know, I was trying to follow people, but again, I don't want to make it sound like I'm blaming them, because I'm not. But we got kind of shallow. And that was, sidebar for a second, that was the other problem with this. This reef is so shallow. The deepest I got on the entire thing is 20 feet. You might have noticed I did not start off the dive with the dive profile for my computer that I almost always show on all the dives. Because my dive computer didn't know what the hell is going on. You know, it starts registering a dive when you get down to 5 feet. And once you get up above that, it's like, oh, dive's over. And so I think my computer logged, 6 or 7 dives on the 2 dives just because this reef was so shallow. My opinion, this would be much better snorkeling reef than diving. It's just too shallow to dive, really. Like I said, the deepest you get down is 20 feet. That's it. I didn't get deeper than 20 feet the entire time. So, next time, diving's my thing, but I'd be tempted to just snorkel this next time. It's I mean, you might get down there and see some things and some cracks and crevices that you wouldn't see snorkeling, but by and large, 98% of the best things you're going to see, you can see snorkeling at the surface. But that kind of brings me to my point. So, it was so shallow, and there was a little current out there, and trying to follow people between that and the current, and we kind of lost and didn't know where they were anyway, because none of us have dove here. We kind of lost the fingers that they were talking about, the rock formation fingers they were talking about. And there were times we started kind of floating right over top of them, and that's not good. That is not at all what you want to do. Because it's a fragile bottom, coral can take hundreds of years to grow, and if you start kicking it and touching it, and it can damage it. And I'm kind of freaking. There's points where I was probably floating over coral that's like less than 2 feet down, and I'm doing my best. I pump my BCD up all the way, and the one thing that drags when I'm diving is my gauge. That kind of hangs low so I can grab it and look at it. So I'm using both my hands to kind of hold that up. In hindsight, maybe I should have just used one. And I'm not trying to kick. I didn't want to swim with my hands because I didn't want to drop my gauge and trail that and have that fall into something. So I'm like sitting over top of this coral, just kind of mini freaking out, like I shouldn't be here, I shouldn't be here, I shouldn't be here. And I'm not swimming, I'm just waiting for the current to kind of push me off the top of this thing, off the top of the coral. And while this is going on, my dive buddies are swimming around or gone, and I finally pop up. And this is what irks me. So the captain started yelling at me. And he goes, Jesse, get your divers and get back underwater, get off the top of the coral. And I'm like, hold up, man. Hold up, Captain. Let's back up a second. These are not my divers, okay? We're all your divers. Yes, I am the most experienced one in this group, but we're all dive buddies. We're all kind of equally in this together. These are not my divers. If you want to take ownership of the divers, then you need to send somebody in the water and show us around or something, And I'm just looking around like, Captain, I don't know where they are. I don't know where they are. Like, you tell me. You're staying on the boat. You can see the bubbles. You can see the fins. And they're asking me like, oh, what color are Tim's fins? And I'm like, they're yellow. And what color are Jay's fins? I'm like, I think they're pink. And so Tim and I did kind of get back close together, finally, But Jay was gone for, it felt like, I don't know, 5 minutes. It was probably like 2 or 3, but I don't know where she was. You know, trying to keep up, it's tough. And again, I'm certainly not blaming her. I'm not blaming anybody. It's just when you got 3 divers who are not used to diving together, that kind of stuff happens. Oh yeah, here's the conch shell I found. It's empty. I was tempted to take that, but you don't do that. You don't take anything. So that irked me a little bit. And he was right. I had to get off the top of the coral. That was not the place to be. I did not plan on being there. I just kind of drifted between trying to find people, follow people. I just kind of, in the current, I just kind of drifted there, and I was, trust me, there was a bunch of oh shit going on in my head. But for him to call me out and say those are my divers, I didn't really, that did not sit with me well. I don't work for him. Yeah, if he wants us to do the right thing and go to the right places, then he needs to put somebody in the water and show us where to go. Like the day before, you know, we had a guide. He was like, you know, we're going down on this rope, told us what to expect, the whole thing. Showed us a picture of the boat. It's like, here's where we're going to go, or around here. You know, he didn't plan out the dive to the T, but he showed us a picture of the boat. It's like, we're going to drop down on this line, we're going to go here, we're going to do that. There was nothing like that for this dive. And maybe there doesn't need to be, but there should be, in my opinion, a map of, you know, here's the coral, here's the boat, this is what you can expect to see. Something along those lines. Okay, my gripe is over. I don't think I have much to say beyond that. I might just play music for the rest of it. Yeah, here we go. This is me on the surface being like, what is going on? I think at this point Jay was gone. Nope, never mind. That's her with the GoPro right there. I probably, you know, I may not have even filmed the part where the captain was yelling at me, but yeah, I did not really appreciate that. That was, I felt a little out of line for me paying you to be here, and it's like all of a sudden I have all this responsibility to look after these other divers. Anyway, all right. I'm a laid-back guy. It's off my chest, and he wasn't wrong, based on my experience level with these other divers. And I dive 3s all the time back home, but I've been diving with those guys for years now, and we all, you know, kind of know each other. We all kind of know what to expect, I'll say. I mean, but yeah, all these divers. I dove with Tim the day before. Jay was the first time I'd ever met her. So it was just, yeah, right here, I'm just like, I'm kind of freaking out, because I'm very close. You can see how close I am. You can hear me puffing my BCD up. See, this is wrong. Captain's 100% right about this. This is way, I should not be floating above this. Should not be floating above this. It's just too shallow. Look at this. This is snorkeling water. This is not diving water. This is snorkeling water. It's just too shallow. This is way too shallow to go diving here. I mean, what are we doing? What is this? So, we clearly lost the deep parts of the reef, which a map would have helped. Would certainly have helped. So, I don't know. That's my gripe. Other than that, I mean, you can see all the fish. It was nice. But look at this. It's just so shallow. And I'm just like, I gotta get out of here. I'm freaking out right now, because you do not want to damage these ecosystems. It's the #1 rule of diving is look, don't touch. And you can see I'm trying to like float to the deep part over there. Like, come on, let's go. I don't want to swim because I'm holding up everything I'm dangling. And I think Jay is gone at this point. I don't know where she is. So yeah, this was a stressful dive. I spent the entire time just trying to find people, trying to stay off the shallow part, and I like finally got to deeper water. Let me get down. Diving, you want to sink. You really do. It's you don't want to be hanging around the surface as a diver. Like, finally. Is Jay over there? Is that her? I couldn't tell that quickly. Okay, that's off my chest. That's pretty much all I wanted to say. And I screwed up a lot of what I wanted to say there, so I'm going to delete a lot of that. I don't know how it's going to work with the timing. I'll figure it out. I will say this. Jay asked me on the boat about color correction in the videos, so I'm going to try to take one of these segments and color correct it. You know, let's do this one. What's this one? I'll make a mental note. 16004. Alright. Although we're so close to the surface, maybe I'll do another one. Because this, right now, does not need color correcting. Down there it did. Yeah, I think I'm looking for Jay right now. It was just... Oh, there she is. Alright, I don't know what I'm doing. Yeah, you might hear a weird cut later on. Earlier, I went off on a rant about what the captain said and then realized in my head that's not what he said, so I started the rant over with what he actually said. So it might be a weird cut where I just cut that out. And I don't want to move the audio to fill in that gap because then everything that I'm saying synced up with what I'm looking at in the video is going to be off, so... Yeah, here we go. I don't know what I'm doing anymore. This is not a dive. This is a snorkel place. Yeah, and all of a sudden I'm like, the current took me over the top of this shallow reef again, and I'm freaking out. Look at this. This is not... You can hear me blowing my BCD up. I'm just trying to float as much as I can over top of this. I hope my fin tips were up and not dragging. I think I more or less missed it. This is not good. Yeah, I'm trying to touch the rock at least and get out of here. Yeah, I don't know. The captain was 100% spot on with me doing this. I was not trying to do it. I was just trying to keep up with the people. I don't know, and the current just, I don't know. There was no dive plan. That was the biggest problem, I think. Now I'm swimming away from it. Because usually, like back home, you know, when I'm diving with my two buddies, we pull out the map, like, here's where we're going to go, you know, so everybody kind of has an idea. I mean, there's none of that here. No map, nothing. They told us to jump in the water and head north. And it's just like, alright. See, this might be a good color correction, because there's a lot of sand. So when you do color correction in Caden Live, with the software that I use, they want you to pick out a spot that's... Pick something in the video that's like supposed to be white, I think, and then it kind of bases everything on that. So that sand should be white, which is like blue to greens. That's the other problem, the color correction on the GoPro. See, now it's blue. And now it looks green. Like the white balance on the GoPro just kind of flips back and forth in the water. And it's like, if you correct for one, it's going to look bad on the other. And then when you turn on your flashlight, because that gives you all the natural color, then when you try to color bound or color correct that, that's going to look weird. So that's why I just don't really mess with the color correction in my dive videos. Hey, look at that pretty fella. But alright, I think I'm going to stop talking now. Sorry for the weird gap in space, rather, earlier. If I think of something else to say, I'll say it. But until then, I'm going to put on some music and enjoy the reef. That little fella. I probably thought my camera was off and turning it on. Yeah, I was so flustered this dive. I didn't know half the time whether my camera was on or off. And, alright, one more thing, sorry. Still a great time with South Point Divers. Great time, 5 stars. Just that one comment from the captain irked me a little bit, but, you know, water off my back, it's fine. He wasn't wrong at all about what I was doing on the shallow reef, so that part, 100% correct. Yeah, I still highly recommend South Point Divers. I had a great time with them. If I ever go back to Key West, I will probably hook up with them again. Yeah, it is just like, too shallow. Just too shallow. Alright, that's it. I'm done. Yeah, yeah. Okay. So yeah, everybody's gone now. Tim is gone. Jay is gone. Now I'm swimming over shallow reef again. Probably shouldn't have been doing that, but I figured, it's deep enough I can get over it. So, just a disaster. This whole dive was a disaster. Well, disaster's the wrong word. Nobody drowned or died or anything, but just compared this dive to the one yesterday, the one the day before was just day and night, man. It wasn't even close. We gotta drop down. That was it. That's what the captain yelled at me. He said, "Jesse, get control of your divers and get under the water," or something along those lines. I couldn't quite hear it in the video, but that was it. So we gotta drop down to the sand channel. Yeah, I was irked, man. I was irked. These are not my divers, Captain. I'm sorry. That's a misrepresentation of what I'm doing here. All of us are your divers. You should have sent somebody in the water and told us where to go if it's that important. No clue where Jay is. She was gone. But anyway, once you finally got through all that, and, you know, I understand the captain's frustration. They want to preserve the ecosystem, and I get it. I do too. Trust me, I was not purposefully trying to destroy the reef. But it just, this dive was a disaster. But Tim, yeah, that camera, man, if you ever watch this, I'd love to see the pictures from that camera. If you could, like, drop a link or something, I don't know. Or at least that eel. Show me some pictures of that eel. No, the whole thing. I want to see the whole thing. Show me all your pictures, Tim. I want to see them. So it's just Tim and I now. Or me and Tim. Or Jay gone. She gone. I'm thinking, man, I hope she's alright. I don't know where she is. We did find her. We popped back up eventually. And she popped up. Yeah, Tim's like, I don't know where she is. And again, I'm certainly not blaming her, not blaming anybody. It's just, it happens. You get separated. And this is what we're doing. And the people on the boat. We got spotters on the boat that finally found her. By then, the dive was over. I wanted to kind of go back down, but I think Tim and Jay had enough, so.
I haven't seen her in like 5 minutes.
Will you skip it then?
What's that?
Will you skip our safety stuff then?
Oh, there's no safety.
Huh?
We've been swimming on the surface the entire time.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
I don't know where. Yeah, he just bitched at me for going over the top of the coral. He's done it wrong. But...
I know. I was just like, let's stay at the fingers.
Yeah. I don't know where.
Where you I was trying to keep track of the whole time. What do we got for air?
She's over here?
Huh?
They were trying to help me find people.
Yeah. I'm sure she'll be popping up. We lost.
You over there somewhere?
So yeah, this was the dive. We're looking for people. This was this dive. Didn't really get to see the reef much. It was swimming over shallow stuff that we shouldn't have been swimming over and looking for people.
You want us to head that way?
So I don't know. Like I said, this was compared to the dive yesterday. It all averages out. So this had to happen. When you got such a good dive the day before, you're due for a bad one. So that's just what happened here. That's all. I'm glad I did it. You know, it's experience. You always learn, no matter what. You learn from the good, you learn from the bad, and this was bad. And if I ever come back to Key West, I'm gonna have a mission to, you know, not swim over the top of these coral. I might be a little more assertive on the surface, at least if I'm, you know, quote unquote the group leader, which I was here. I did a bad job. I did do a bad job. I should have been more assertive about, here's where we're gonna go. This is what we need to do. I was the most experienced one. I was the only one with the compass. So I do agree it was on me to lead this dive better than I did, which basically I didn't. But at the same time, people got minds of their own. They're gonna go do what they want. They're gonna swim this way. They're gonna swim that way. I do that too. And we got separated. And
all right, this is the channel.
This is the result.
It sent you out that way, somewhere.
It is best to have a dive plan, which we did not have. It is best to have a map to know, at least have an idea of where you're going to go, what you're going to do. That didn't happen. So, kind of a perfect storm of total mess here, which is what this was. But hey, like I said, you live and you learn, so I don't regret it one bit.
Oh, there she is.
Finally found her. Yeah, there she is. Look at it. Look how far away she is. She went on a trek. But it was good. It was good. It was good. You know, you have dives like this sometimes, and hey, nobody got hurt, nobody got lost. So, still a successful dive in that regard. But next time I come to Key West, it will be better. That I can promise. I might just go snorkeling next time, honestly. And the second dive, so this was the first dive on the reef. We did another dive. That one's coming up. How much time we got? Yeah, so we're winding down on this one, I think. So yeah, learn from my failures. If you ever go diving in Key West, make sure you buddy up, stick together.
Started getting hard to see everybody, so.
Yeah. And hopefully I'll see you at the next video. It's better than this one. More wildlife, that I can promise.
Do I go for 10 minutes or you want to go up?
Right behind you. Right there.
You want to keep going for a little bit? Okay, I'm going to go up if you want to buddy with.
Either don't hold over the boat. It'll try to hit you.
Does anybody want to keep going for a little bit? Yeah, I'll keep going. Okay. Yeah, we gotta try to stay drop down. Get a little shallow, I think, going over the top of those. Yeah, alright, wanna go?